Last Sunday, as America celebrated Father's Day, moms and dads across the nation saw little immigrant children ordered into cages by the President of the United States as they cried out for their own mothers and fathers. In an appearance on New Day Sunday on CNN, I suggested that President Trump should fall to his knees and pray to the Lord for forgiveness over the trauma and abuse he imposes on immigrant children. He should ask for forgiveness after his Attorney General sunk to quoting scripture in defense of his cruelty to immigrant children. He should pray for forgiveness for his brazen and sickening lie that President Obama or Democrats are responsible for the cruelty and abuse he imposes on immigrant children. America is now led by a man who often waves the Bible in support of actions that violate core teachings of the Sermon on the Mount and guiding principles of the great faiths of the world. America is now led by a polyester patriot who waves the flag and slanders his enemies while he praises mass-murdering dictators and imposes cruelty against children under the false flag of making America great. The next time President Trump makes a political speech at a national prayer breakfast, he should ask the assembled leaders of diverse faiths for a showing of hands on a simple question: were the immigrant children upon whom he imposes cruelty and trauma created in the image of God? A grateful nation lauds former First Lady Laura Bush for speaking out, armed with her faith, integrity, patriotism and decency, against the cruelty and abuse that Donald Trump imposes on the immigrant children who were created in the image of God. It now appears that the Trump strategy for the midterm elections is to escalate the trauma and abuse he imposes on immigrant children and to demand that Republicans in Congress march in lockstep in support of this vile and sickening spectacle that dishonors the core values of Americanism and disrespects the shared values of the great faiths. Trump and certain henchmen and women, including the Secretary of Homeland Security, are pursuing a dark vision of politics reminiscent of other lands in the previous century. Nothing is more sacred than the love of a mother for her child. Every time a child in a cage cries out desperately for his or her mommy, mothers across America imagine a crass and ruthless politician taking their sons and daughters away from them and making them cry in anguish. To understand the midterm politics of this, consider Texas. In one very important way, Rep. Beto O'Rourke Democrat Texas has already defeated Senator Ted Cruz Republican Texas in their upcoming Senate campaign. Hours after O'Rourke powerfully protested the cruelty that Trump is imposing on immigrant children created in the image of God, Cruz sought to reincarnate himself as a born-again supporter of justice and human rights. What O'Rourke calls for with sincerity, passion and principle, Cruz now calls for with opportunism, fearing the political consequences of standing with Trump's abuse of the immigrant children. Republicans in Congress, whatever their motives, should break the chains of submission that compel them to support the evils that Trump imposes. Senator Bob Corker, Republican Tennessee, recently compared Republicans who support Trump, which he has done himself, to cult followers. To extend this apt analogy, Republicans who do not condemn the trauma and abuse that Trump imposes on immigrant children will be joining a cult of political suicide in the midterm elections. Across our great country, there are ministers, priests and rabbis, there are moms and dads and their sons and daughters, rising together against the sickening travesty that Trump imposes in his latest attack against the American way. They will vote Trump. Republicans will lose. Brent Budowski was an aide to former Senator Lloyd Bentsen, Democrat Texas, and former Representative Bill Alexander, Democrat Arkansas, who was Chief Deputy Majority